All right. Hey, guys, we're back with another episode of Paul Mort Talk Shit. And I got to tell you, I am really enjoying doing these podcasts with non-celebrities, non-sportsmen. I am, essentially, you'll have noticed that I am interviewing normal blokes doing extraordinary shit. And today, we have one of the, well, number one dancer inside of Unstoppable, one of the most inspirational guys in the program who always has a powerful, positive effect. And I've seen this happen in every room I've been in. So welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Adam Clark.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the show, by the way. Sounds ominous because of what I do on social media with
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah,
I can't believe I just said that. Adam Clark, thank you for joining us today, mate. I'm delighted to have you here. I know we're going to have a blast. I'm not prepared at all because I've decided that I'm better when I don't prepare.
Yeah.
The podcast's better when it's not this question and then this question and then this question. So,
yeah, let's do it.
First question. What was it? Where were you at that led you to discovering what we do here and me?
So I'd sort of just been in a long relationship and I had come out of that and didn't really know who I was, to be honest. And it must have been something online that I started following, and all of a sudden this guy, Paul Mort, was all over me so all the time. And it just resonated with me.
When you say you didn't know who you were, what are some of the emotions around that? What does that feel like?
Just lost.
Because that's you hear that quite a lot, but what does it mean?
I suppose living the same day over and over. Like I used to say, I'm just existing. The same day over and over, just feeling lost, like you weren't really going anywhere, you know. It was just
going round in circles, inertia,
in circles, and
treading water,
just looking forward to the weekend, you know, as if the weekend's this big thing, and then it'd be Monday, and then you get that low again, and then and your emotions are all up and down, and you're not. There's no direction. You're going. I mean, you know, you say 100 miles an hour to nowhere. Yeah, and that was my life.
Yeah, and I was just as soon as I said it, I almost interrupted you because I'm really good at that.
I never noticed that.
I get too excited, man.
Love it.
As soon as you said the words, like as soon as I thought you sounded like you're treading water, I'm like, you know what? Treading water in going nowhere is as tiring as swimming to somewhere.
Just exhausted all the time.
Yeah,
but I'm not doing a lot.
Yeah,
I'm not going anywhere, but I'm just going around in circles.
What were your habits like at that point?
I was drinking, which I'm now not, through choice, which is amazing, and I feel so great for that.
Yeah.
So that was having massive ups and downs on my emotions and my energy spikes. Not really knowing, I mean, it's easy to say looking back, but not really knowing how to deal with anything. Yeah. Flying off the handle, feeling quite stressed, and some days I'd feel elements of sort of depression and anxious for things and just not really knowing how to deal with anything. So you never really knew what the day was going to entail. Whereas now it's very, very different. Yeah. You know,
so you had no structure then?
Yeah. Oh, no structure.
Yeah.
No.
It's an interesting concept, structure, and I love talking about it at the minute. I don't particularly like the word because if I say the word structure to you, what's kind of the first thing that pops up, or what would have been the first thing that pops up?
Would have been, would have caused me anxiety, or, you know, I say caused me anxiety, created anxiety. Yeah, because it's like, oh, I've got to do something else. Yeah.
I think it sounds like it's boring.
Yeah, boring.
Oh, structure, boring. Things. Routine, boring. Rigid, boring. And no one really wants that. Yeah, yeah. And you know this, Adam, I did a training on it the other week where I'm like, everyone wants freedom, but they refuse to have structure. Structure, in my opinion, is the prerequisite to having freedom.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Especially as a self-employed guy. I mean, what were you doing for work then?
That time I was with the business partner running a heating business. Yeah.
And how was that going?
It's kind of the same thing again as my life is. Like every week was sort of the same again and again. There was nothing, like you say, no structure. So
what would you say then, Adam, that was because you've seen me stalking you, sending offensive emails, posting endless fucking videos, fucking relentless, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now I'm laughing at that. But the reality is, that's what it takes, man.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't matter what your business is.
3 months.
Amazing. So it took you 3 months of
listening to you
and fucking endless barrage.
Yeah, yeah.
but
it
that
felt
is
like you were talking directly to me.
Think about that, mate. It took you 3 months. There's people that have followed me for 10 years before taking the leap.
Yeah, yeah.
It's wild.
Well, I'd had a year before sort of my old relationship ended. That was 15 years. Yeah. So I'd had a year. So I'd actually done quite a lot of sort of personal development. Spent a lot of time with family and friends and done a lot of reflecting in that time.
Yeah.
But then obviously it took a further 3 months of listening to you. And I think
What was the straw that broke the camel's back? I've said that loads this week, and I don't even know
yeah.
what. Do you even know what that means?
No.
I've never seen a camel with a broken back.
I mean, how many straws would you have to have?
Well, me and Max have both been on the. Me and Max have both been on like a camel at the same time, and we didn't even fucking break it.
Wow.
I mean, it made a lot of noises, like, but did a lot of shitting. Anyway, mate, that's the maddest diversion
I love it.
I've ever done.
Yeah.
Talking about camels and what was the thing that was the? Because there's always a moment of decision. Robbins would call it that.
That's a tough one.
Maybe I just got better at selling.
I think it was me questioning it, and it was the going around in circles again and again. So listening to what you were saying, and obviously it had resonated with me, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to do something about this. But it was a lot in my head. Like,
what was some of the because I love this question. What was some of the reservations you had? I'm going to say about signing up with me, but what is essentially you were signing up with me because you wanted to change. But what are some of the reservations you had about doing it?
It's doing something new, I suppose, you haven't done before. I mean, the bottom line was, what's coaching? I'd never heard of coaching. This guy's a coach. I'm like, well, what the hell's a coach?
Yeah.
And that was a big one for me. And I was like, so that's why I just kept listening. And everything you were saying was like, it was speaking directly to me. And that was what was weird.
Yeah.
And so I suppose there was that, what is this? It was like learning things for the first time. It's like, well, I should have learned that years ago. Like how to deal with difficult people and how to manage my emotions. And like, what is all this?
Yeah.
But I loved it and I wanted to know more. So I kept listening. And then I think another thing was the money. So I used to think it was like, looking at just money going out. And
it's mad, isn't it, that?
Yeah, because when I joined, you were doing the man's formation.
Yeah.
And
been about $1,000 that.
Yeah, about that. And I was thinking, well, I don't really have that. Certainly not to just spend on this, whatever it was, like. And now, obviously, I see it as an investment.
Yeah, it's mad,
an investment into myself, which is a totally different mindset shift.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, how can I possibly spend £1,000 in 3 months on me?
Yeah.
Like, and I remember speaking to friends and family, and they were like, "What?
That's a lot."
Yeah. Like, what? You've got £1,000? Well, not right now, but I'm going to find it. They're like, "Well, what? What are you doing?" I'm like, "Don't really know."
That's why it's
But
wild.
like,
Because I haven't been in that mindset for such a long time. That I'm like, what? It's like, but and then I look at it slightly differently. The first thing I thought when I was 1,000, was 90 days. It's a tenner a day.
Yeah.
If you're in business, you've got a tenner a day,
Yeah,
and a lot of men are spending on fags and a fucking and an expensive
I'll go
sandwich.
and spend £5-6 on a coffee.
Yeah.
A couple of times a day, no problem. But
It's mad, isn't
I
it,
want to
that?
invest in myself to better myself. No.
And I think it's maybe from a mindset point of view, we're looking at the 1,000. It's 1,000.
Yeah.
It's £1,000. Fucking hell! But if I can break it to, and again, this is probably a marketing tip for a lot of people that works out with a tenner a day.
Yeah.
And it's tax deductible.
Yeah.
So this is what I've started using this in my sales pitch now, mate. I'm like, listen, you should do this if you go into businesses as well. Like, listen, you can either give that money to the tax man or invest it back into yourself and your business.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you're doing. Give it to the fucking tax man who loves self-employed people. Have you noticed that? Tax man loves the self-employed guy.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Was spending it on me.
Yeah,
like,
really.
What am I actually spending it on? I mean, I didn't really know.
Because it's not tangible, is it?
Yeah,
There's nothing.
I'm not buying anything.
Yeah, you're not getting. You can't see what you're getting. I see coaching as you kind of feel like sometimes
You're buying the feeling.
you're selling fresh air.
Yeah.
It's fresh air.
But there's nothing like that
And
feeling.
for a lot of coaches, it's fucking fresh gas.
Yeah.
Fresh bullshit. Yeah. So you get into the program. What's your first impression? And tell me the truth. Give me the honest truth. What's your first impression?
To be honest, it's only been, I've been in now 2 years in Alliance,
Yeah.
but it feels like it could have been 10 years.
Does it?
Yeah. So it's time.
Is that a good thing?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just time has just flown.
Yeah.
Like I was saying to the guys out there, Kath and Leslie this morning, like, I struggle to remember the guy I used to be like 2-3 years ago. My life's changed a lot in 3 or 4 years.
Mate,
you know,
mate. Do I fucking hear that?
Yeah,
and I can see it from you, but also me. I did a podcast yesterday and I got interviewed. I sat in his chair and I cried twice.
Yeah.
Because he asked me questions and I was like, fucking hell, I've never been asked that question before. B, I was a different man then.
Yeah. And it's really
Leslie was a
hard to
different
go
woman.
back because what you teach, you're focused on the now and the future and what you want to create.
Yeah.
You don't dwell on the past anymore. So
Yeah.
it's like, well, who was I? How did I used to feel? And who was I 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
remember
it's wild,
that guy.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's wild.
So-
and then you're like, do I have regrets? Could I have handled that better? And then you get so focused on the future that I think you can't fucking change that anyway.
I
no matter
try
how
to
much
say
you
I
talk
have
about
no
it.
regrets.
Yeah,
Because
so do I.
everything gets you to where you are
Yeah,
today.
yeah. And
Even the bad.
And it's just a frame in it. Like, I'm thinking, yes, I've hurt people and upset people, But they've benefited from that at some point as well, because now me falling out with them, they no longer have me in their lives, which is actually probably beneficial for them.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. That sounds weird.
No,
I think if they could probably find the gift as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, think about people we're falling out with, people that we've upset, people that we've hurt, stupid shit that we've done. Fuck, I was talking about the other day. I once got arrested when Leslie was fucking 10 months pregnant.
Really?
Aye. I got caught fighting. I got in a fight and I had a little bag in me pocket.
Nice.
And I found it. Yeah, so I got in, and that's obviously very upsetting for Leslie, but that's all part of the journey. Do I regret it a little bit? But regretting it's not going to fucking change it.
Got to find the lesson.
So why'd I just let go of it? Just let go of it. And again, I think anything that you can't say thank you for will keep running your life.
Yeah.
Because you'll keep remembering it and you feel bad about yourself.
That thank you thing is huge.
Yeah.
It freaks me out now. Like, can you say thank you for that really bad negative thing that happened? And you're like, but it's how you position it.
And especially if you created it as well,
Yeah.
because there's double trouble there. Can I say thank you for the event, but can I say thank you for myself?
Yeah.
For doing that stupid shit.
Yeah, I get it.
And I kind of have. There's no other alternative other than let it run my life. So what did you find hard then? Let's just say when you first came in that program, what did you find difficult? What was challenging about it? Because it's not easy. I remember that program. The hardest part about it, Adam, that a lot of people struggled with was I am a fan of over-delivering.
Yeah.
But sometimes that can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Complicated. So
I
that
think
program was 2 trainings a week.
Yeah.
That's a lot. We don't even do that in Alliance now.
No. I thought it was a training a week. I think it was a live training.
There was
and then you had
a
one to
mindset
watch.
training.
Yeah.
And then a finance, training, and then a war room in between.
I think it was just a case of throwing myself in.
Yeah.
So what I found difficult, again, it's going to be hard to remember, but I suppose it was just making the time. You know, it's a different way of thinking. Yeah. It was absolutely stripping it all back, going back to basics and forgetting what I should and shouldn't be doing and just having an open mindset and being like, right, I'm just going to try this new thing.
And that's hard for a lot of people.
Really hard.
Adam, I was talking to a lady yesterday who enrolled her partner on Unstoppable 28. She's crushed it.
Yeah.
You're sitting next to her, Jan.
Yes.
Her partner might be listening now, actually, but I'm going to fucking say it anyway. You need to hear it. And she said her husband signed up, her partner signed up for Unstoppable 28, keen as fuck, really struggling, self-employed tradesman, perfect fucking fit for the program.
Yep.
Did Unstoppable 28, started doing the hot pen technique. 5 minutes in, I can't fucking do it, but he's done me out.
Right.
That's often a typical behaviour of men.
Yeah.
And someone posted in the group this morning where I was like, well done on recognising that you're acting like a fucking spoiled teenager.
Yeah.
Spoiled prepubescent teenager. It is.
Just to
throw your toys out the pram.
You've always done that, and this is what you've always gone about. You've learnt this behaviour over 30, 40 years, whatever age you join Alliance, and it's like you've got to break through that. Yeah. And it's really
and recognising it is the fucking is such a big thing. So it sounds like you kind of already recognise that. So you found that.
Yeah, I think I'd done a year of like personal development on some level before I sort of knew what coaching was. So I think that's why I found it easier.
What by personal development, what do you mean? Like learning, consuming mainly, or?
Consuming, but just I'd learned a lot about my past relationship.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think, and a lot of people is what people used to say to me because it was a sort of in my opinion, a narcissistic relationship, and I didn't even know when I was in the relationship what that was. I just kept telling myself I was happy, and you know, this is going to last forever. And then when it ended, I was
15
like,
years is a long time,
what
mate.
am I supposed to do? Well,
that's a long ass time.
14 through to 29.
Half your life.
So
more than half your life, mate.
I remember
Fucking
when
hell.
I came out of that relationship, I went around my best mate's house and I was just checking my phone constantly. And he's like, what do you think's going to happen? What are you checking your phone for? And I couldn't make decisions.
On fucking Tinder, bro.
Yeah. No, not at that time. But no, it was a case I couldn't even make a decision. I was just in this lull of I just didn't know who I was.
A lot of thinking about it as well.
A lot of thinking. So this is what I mean when I say the personal development. It was like looking at what's kind of happened over the last 15 years for me and like thinking, well, okay, what lessons have I learned in that? So I think that's why I was more open to.
Well, let's stay on this, mate. Let's give the listeners a bit of a fucking education on that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what happened for you. How can you frame that? What were some of the gifts you got from that? Because that's intense shit, that, mate. 15 years of being fucking in a narcissistic relationship. And that's a big word to throw out. Yeah. Let's just say a fucking horrible relationship.
Yeah,
really.
let's just say that.
What are some of the gifts you got from that then?
I think it enabled me, the first thing, and the way I start now on reframing things is realise what I don't want. So I don't always know what I do want, but
what's mad, mate? It will be easy for you, and this is what I love about you, mate. Is that somebody that's been in a relationship like that could stay the victim.
And I've seen that as well.
Forever.
Yeah. And people say to me, how have you done this transformation in yourself in only like 3 years? I'm like, I don't really know. And I think
Well, you stop blaming her.
Yeah, it's surrounding yourself in that environment with other people. I remember the first time, so going back to the question you asked me about, how did I feel when I first joined? I remember the first quarterly we did, I think it was Everton.
Oh shit!
Quarter 3.
Yeah, well, we had the guys get on the stage and do the speaking. Yeah,
that was amazing.
That was a mad event.
Been in like
shit stadium,
weeks,
shit stadium, like, great event. That would blow your head off.
Yeah, it blew my head off because I'd just done these trainings and I was like, this Paul Mort guy's not going to expect me to do this, right? Because like shit in my pants, mate. I'm like,
who do we have on? We had grandbrother who talked about a fucking gun in his face.
You had David Barnes.
We had Barnesy on.
Yeah.
We had
Gillespie did a talk.
Craig Gillespie did a talk. Ian Lambert.
Rob
did a talk. Rob Blackburn won in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a wild thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob McGeary did one as well. Rob McGeary talked about shagging and
yes, he did.
Yeah, came in dressed as fucking Hugh Hefner or something.
Sailor hat,
yeah. That was
but I remember getting to that quarterly and opening the doors, and I can literally picture it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
All the guys were in their big dick energy tops that you'd given out to everyone, and it was like the energy hit you.
Cold energy.
Yeah, the cold energy hit you as you walked through the door, and it was like, wow. Yeah. And I just remember, like, that was a magic moment. It was a huge win.
And the lighting was weird in there as well. That's what I can remember about. The lighting was really weird.
I remember going in the free room, beforehand. And it was like, obviously, you'd be behind the backstage, probably in the toilet having a shit.
Do your thing,
your thing,
pretending I'm having a shit.
There you go.
Yeah.
But
I just like to do my entrance, don't I?
Yeah. No, obviously. But I remember walking through them doors, and everyone's in the same t-shirt, and the guys are all like you, and they're all so friendly, and it's like.
Are you saying they're all a bit nuts? They're all a bit nuts.
Well, yeah, but in a great way.
Yeah.
They're so relatable.
Yeah.
And it's like I didn't know what to expect. I was really nervous.
How good's the crack?
It's amazing.
The crack, man.
It's amazing.
I said this yesterday. I said I would hang out with you guys anytime.
Yeah. Well, we have
anytime.
Marbella.
Not even at an event. Like I'd be more than happy to spend time with guys. Like if I was at a match, I'd be like. In fact, we'll do this year. By the way, I've mentioned this already. We will do a European trip. No fucking teaching. We'll just go to a fucking match.
Just hang out.
All the boys, hang out, go to footy, like some big derby game in Greece or something where it's a bit mental. And I was like, I would do that.
Yeah.
I would do that 100% because the
guys
banter,
are so fun to be around.
So relatable, working hard, challenging themselves, not settling for shit, not acting like fucking victims. Sure, the spit that dummy every now and again. Everyone does, we're human. But just like mint cracking, like you say, relatable. And everyone's in a different place. Like everyone is in a different place, but everyone's still...
You don't want to all be in the same place.
Common goal, common objective, typical cult behaviour.
Yeah. People who say that to my family says that to me now. Is this a sort of like cult? And I'm just, instead of fighting it now, I go, yep.
You got to think about it, mate. Everyone's in a cult. Your friendship group that go on the piss every weekend, they do what cults do.
Yeah.
All do the same
call
shit.
It what you want, I'm in. I don't really give a shit.
Mate,
are you signing up again for the year?
I'm going to start wearing barbed wire on my head.
Oh, really?
So let's go back then to the gift thing, because we'll bypass that, and I think there's a lot of value in it for the listeners. So you learned in that relationship, and again, you can look at this from any bad thing that happens is always gifts, right? In fact, I'll just say things happen.
Yeah.
I remember Peter Sage, who we had. Did you see Peter?
No, I missed that one.
Shit! I'll have to get Peter back.
Yeah,
I'll have to get Peter back because Peter's a G.
Snowboarding for that one.
Oh, really? Yeah. Peter's taught me so much, man. And he says the past is just the past. The past is literally just the past. Your imagination fills in the gaps, and
it really does.
And your imagination creates all of the meaning.
Yeah.
Just and this Dispenza talks about this as well. 50% of your memories are not real.
Yeah, there's something you say that I can't remember exactly what the quote is now, but it's like, the rest is I've just made up.
Yeah.
Something only 10% of my life's actually facts or something.
Yeah,
the rest
something like that. Something like that. Yeah, it's your imagination so fucking powerful. That's why you got to, and that's all this gift is, by the way.
Yeah.
So you're using your imagination in a different way.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Your imagination is so fucking powerful.
But you're using it in a positive way, so you're not tired.
Exactly.
It becomes easy.
Give me more gifts then. Except you figured out what you didn't want, which I believe is important. Cause
yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm running off again, but I was saying to someone yesterday, I believe that everyone knows what they want. They just get stuck behind the how to get it. Yeah. Or they get stuck behind all the reasons why it's different for them. They're too old. They do.
It's just difficult to do it.
And when people really struggle, I'm like, well, and I wouldn't normally say this, but if you're really struggling, what do you not want? Because you tend to want the opposite of what you don't want, which is it can actually be quite useful
to reframe.
Yeah, it is. So you learn what you didn't want. What else?
What else did I learn? I think, well, since coming on the program with you was just that mindset shift. I mean, that whole for me thing that I mentioned was huge. Like, if you can think that everything happens for you, and get out of that victim mode, because that's the most common thing I see.
Yeah.
Oh, this has happened to me. Oh, look at the weather today. Look at this today. It's like, you just notice so much more. You're like, why are you talking about that? Like, you can't control that. That was huge, actually.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You can't control
only
other people.
worry about what you can control.
Yeah.
That's another one. But yeah, if you only worry about what you can control, you suddenly, everything becomes a lot smaller, manageable.
Bang on.
Because you're like, well, I can't worry. No, what's the point in worrying about that? Because I can't control that.
Yeah.
What
And
can I
even
control?
trying to is exhausting.
Yeah.
Exhausting. It's no wonder people are so fucking tired. So you learn about that, and I bet you probably learned something about the gift is. I bet you've taken some of those lessons from that, and
the biggest thing was
learn
being
how
a
to
better
treat
dad.
people. Being a better dad.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah.
Being a better dad.
By a better dad, talk to me about that. What do you mean by that?
So
How do I become a better dad?
be more present. Going back to what I said before about just existing, it was Groundhog Day every day. Wake up, go to work, come home. You know, some days I'd be home really late, like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and the kids would already be in bed.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd get to read storybooks to them. Other times I wouldn't see them.
Yeah.
And you'd just get lost in this being a busy fool.
Yeah,
all
and
the
you tell
time.
yourself you're doing it for them.
Yeah, but you're not.
Yeah.
And it's really important. Like, if I could give any advice, it would just be to spend more time with your kids, because they grow up so fast.
Yeah.
Like, my boy's 10 now, Alfie, and
Fucking hell, mate,
Autumn's
tell me about
7.
it.
And I remember them being born.
Yeah.
You know, it's 10 years. And I think the biggest thing, just spend time with them.
What a
and
fuck,
also
mate, it's
show
such a-
them.
you know
Show
what
them,
it
don't
is?
tell them. It's huge.
Yeah.
There's
It's
so
such-
many things you've taught me that just come out.
Show them, don't tell them, and it's such a fucking privilege to be a dad, man.
It really is.
It's such a privilege. Like, we forget
I feel
this.
so lucky.
We sometimes feel like they're a pain in the arse,
Yeah.
and they're a challenge, and they're a struggle, and sometimes they're rude, and sometimes they're entitled, and sometimes they're fucking ungrateful.
But they're just copying
But
you.
that's just, I'm just like, sometimes they are that.
Yeah.
But they're just being human. I'm like, if you think about it, it's such a fucking gift, man.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this. I didn't realize this. Fucking hell, I'm emotional. But somebody told me, in fact,
There's nothing wrong with that. That's another
this
thing.
is, I know,
Be
I
emotional.
know. It was when I got back from base camp, the Sherpa, Namgel, guy from Nepal,
Yeah.
he sent me wife a message that was basically, I've never met someone who's so dedicated to his kids and fucking hell.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, I
It is a
love
mad thing.
It is.
It is a mad thing, and I'm like, I didn't realize that was me. Like, I haven't realized. I still don't realize that. So people, Paul's a proper family man, but it's weird. I still don't think I am.
But it goes back to that structure.
It
Because you
does.
structure your life. It creates that freedom
just,
for
I
you.
still honestly, people, oh, Paul's a proper family man. I'm like, am I? Because I still feel like I work my arse off, and I'm traveling,
do,
and
but
I'm
it's
doing this.
structured.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
it's so
but you
weird.
make the time for your kids.
And I think what it is I involve them in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I love when I travel on my own. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, I wish I'd brought them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I go to an event in somewhere like Basel, or I'll go to Belgrade with one of the lads, and I'm like, oh, I wish they were here. Like, I don't like having babysitters.
No.
I mean, me and Leslie will still do, we're dating tonight, me and Leslie, but it's just because we're going to a restaurant where they'll be too fussy to eat anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would love
I know
them to,
you love
when
taking them.
I do,
Yeah.
and I love them to come and experience it.
What's the point in them just being at home? You're not showing them anything.
And,
like that,
and I think that whole thing probably comes from, well, I think in the past you'd want a babysitter so you could get pissed.
yeah.
And I don't ever want my kids to see me pissed, ever. In fact, now, because I've been off the booze for so long, because they've seen so many people acting like fucking idiots when they're pissed. They've seen men pissing, women with their knickers down pissing in the middle of the street. They've seen women not being able to stand up, middle-aged women. They've seen men asleep on the pavement. Not homeless men, normal,
The
everyday
thing is,
blokes.
The kids aren't going to get the booze and what booze does
Nah.
to you, so
And
they're
they've
just
seen-
seeing what you're acting
Exactly,
like. And
exactly.
They're like, well, who's this?
And then they've seen Max especially. Imagine the shit he sees in an away game.
Yeah.
What people are up to. Someone offered him a fucking key.
Right.
Someone said, "You want one of these, son?" Like, mate, he's fucking 30. And then we'll
But
go
because you involve him, you're constantly showing him.
Exactly,
You're not
and
covering
I'm
his
not
eyes
having to
up.
teach him that. He's just seen
No.
it. And then we'll go to UFC, for
then you can
example.
talk about it.
Grown men fighting with each other. He just laughs. He's like, "Dad, this is mental." And again, I'm not, if you wanted to drink, you can fucking drink. I'm not a fucking preacher. I'm not perfect, but I'm like, I don't want my kids to see me doing that. So,
Well, my kids were my inspiration for the booze. I was actually on holiday in Morocco, and over that.
What a place, by the way. Morocco's cool
yeah, it
as
was
fuck.
lovely. It was really cool. Yeah, April and I went on that little horse-drawn carriage. Through
Class.
That was amazing.
Morocco's so cool. A bit scary, like I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
A little bit scary,
Yeah,
like
to
these.
go off the
you could snatch my kids, these fuckers.
Yeah.
I think it's because I've watched Taken with Liam Neeson. I'm sure they get snatched there.
Well, he could have
But
the
then
kids, though.
Well, then I think about it. I'm like, well, they'll soon send Nina back. They'll snatch me down and be like, mate, you can have her back.
Amazing. But yeah, I mean, I'd sort of been, this was the second year, so this was sort of the first full year that I'd been on Alliance with you. And it got to that, it was over New Year, 2022. And I said to myself, well, I'm only going to drink 3 days a week, no matter whether that's 3 or 4 pints or a sip of beer.
Yeah.
If I drink, that's classed as I've drank that day.
Yes.
So, it kind of got to the point where, because I'd set them sort of that structure in my life and those rules for myself, I wasn't drinking at all in the week.
Oh, really?
I was having less at the weekends because I was like, what's the point? What's the point coming out and having 8
That's a
beers?
nice way to look at it, because I'm the guy that's like, no, fuck. I'm balls deep, put myself on the line. I'm not drinking at all.
I've never really done that.
But that's a nice way to do that.
I've never really drank on my own. But then I've got a lot of friends and family who I can have a drink with.
Yes.
But it's always been with someone. So it's always been social drinking.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where I was like, well, learning the stuff that I was learning with you and then drinking, they were fighting against each other. I was like, so let's just try this. The first year, I drank a lot.
Yeah.
Since I broke up
Yeah.
in my relationship.
Yeah.
And then the second year, it was like, well, okay, let's try drinking less days than I am drinking. And then it got to that holiday, and I was having the drinks abroad are pretty shit a lot of the time. So I was having shandies by the pool.
Mad thing is, mate, I never drank on holiday anyway. I get
Really?
wasted at home.
I see why you do
get
it
wasted
now,
on a night out, but being on holiday, I never did.
Really?
Aye.
Like people, that's the mindset.
I think it's because my kids were there.
Yeah.
I think that's why. Even when I was drinking, I'd never drink when the kids were. Even when I was getting fucking wasted and still sniffing and that, right? I still wouldn't drink in front of my kids, which is
that's
probably
amazing.
helped me a ton.
That's
On
amazing.
holidays, I've always been the opinion, well, I'm going here to feel better, not worse. I want
Yeah.
to feel great when I come back, not like shit, not be the back to reality squad.
I have drunk in front of my kids, but would I say I regret it? I go with no, because
Nah.
I've now seen the lessons from it, and now I'm where I am because of that.
Yeah.
But basically, the reason I stopped was just one particular morning. I'd had, 4 or 5 beers by the pool, and I was groggy, and I just wanted to go back to the hotel room and have a sleep.
Yes.
And my kids are in the pool, and I'm thinking, big
yeah,
mindset shift. I'm like, and the thing is, I'd stopped for Christmas, so I didn't drink Christmas Day. And my family actually were really supportive. They were like,
Really?
what is that you're drinking?
Yeah.
And I was like 0% stuff, but they'd seen me kind of peel it back sort of.
Drifting
over the
away
last-
from it a little
yeah,
bit.
a little bit anyway.
You're almost like tapering it down.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it just became, and it was while I was on holiday, which was mad.
Yeah.
I just thought, no, I'm done.
This
And
is
that was
mad.
like
Do you know that
18 months
feeling
ago
that you got
Yeah.
when you were on the pool after 4 or 5 pints and you wanted to have a nap?
Yeah.
That's the point where a lot of people are like, do you know what they'll have?
More.
A line.
Yeah.
They'll have a line.
I've never done
that. Was
that.
me.
Yeah,
that was
see,
me.
I've
And that's a
never
lot
done
of
that.
blokes. Oh, I'm feeling a bit tired now. I need a foot. We used to call it a livener.
Yeah.
Or a bump or a booster. Booster,
Yeah.
we used to call it. Let's go and have a booster.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a really interesting thing about feeling groggy while you're drinking.
Yeah. See,
Is
I've,
my- or
I
like you
haven't-
say,
I haven't
more.
ever done that. Yeah. But yeah.
I'm not going to encourage it.
No. No, but like people ask me like, why have you stopped drinking? And it's always from a, like, I want to encourage you to drink, but now I know why that is. you
Yeah,
know,
it's such an interesting
because they
vibe.
struggle with it.
Yeah.
It's not me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a threatening thing or what it is, but it's like, I think because they can't do it,
Yeah.
it's like, well, I'm going to try and encourage you to drink because it make me feel better.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to try and stop anyone from drinking. That's not why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I've
I
chosen
got
to
accused
stop.
of that yesterday. I'm like, mate, I'm not telling anybody not to drink.
Yeah, and you don't.
All I've done is share something that I'm proud of.
And the benefits.
Would you have said that if you'd have posted if I'd have posted a picture of a pint at the airport? You'd have said fuck all. In fact, you'd have cheered me on.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I
I'm not
remember you saying the other day, your WhatsApp was full of like...
you'd have cheered.
with beers by the pool.
You'd have cheered me on if I'd have posted an airport
Yeah, yeah.
pint.
Yeah.
Would you have criticised me if I'd have posted a picture of Max getting man of the match at rugby? No. Well, I'm proud that I've got 900 days no drinking.
Yeah.
If you're triggered by it, unfollow.
It's on you, yeah.
Do whatever you fucking want, mate. Because
Yeah.
again, it's mad. I was like, I made this post the other day saying, do you know what? I get criticised for not drinking and praised for drinking.
It's weird, isn't it?
Mental.
It's like there's a rule book on life
Yeah.
until you discover this stuff.
It's so fucking mad.
and you're
Isn't
like, it opens a whole new world of questioning.
Talk to me then about Adam, about some of the other results that you've had across the board in your life.
Well, I started writing these down this morning, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you know this was coming, like?
Well, I had an idea. You might ask me these
Yeah.
things. And
I'm
I
just
was-
like, do you know what? It's great for me to hear. It's great for you to repeat it because
Yeah,
it makes you feel great.
absolutely.
But also, I think we have a duty to inspire people that listen to the podcast.
I think wins is the best way
talk,
to do that.
Yeah, and not just talk about theory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just talk about theory. And I think the thing about talking to normal blokes who are doing extraordinary shit, right? Or abnormal shit. That sounds a bit noncy, but
It does.
but
it
like
is.
it's
doing
normal
things that are
blokes
different.
doing extraordinary shit. And I think the wins will be more relatable than saying, hey, I won the heavyweight championship of the world.
Yeah.
Hey, I won the fucking lightweight championship of the
It could
world.
just be, I really intently listened to my kid when he told me about his school day. It doesn't have to
and
be
that's
something.
relatable. Hey, I got 2 million followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's not relatable to normal fucking people.
No.
Because we automatically sometimes go, well, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not relatable at all.
I'm going to listen. Doing a podcast. Do you want to do a podcast? 2-3 years ago, no chance.
No chance.
But now instantly think of the impact. I'm like, well, if I can get someone to listen to what I've got to say, and there's still that kind of limiting belief there, like, well, who's going to want to listen to me?
Yeah.
But I have been there, and I have to tell myself and believe it. I have done it, and other people have some lovely things to say about me, which I'm like, really?
It's really interesting, you say about inspiring people, because we often, and particularly English blokes in particular, don't share what's working, the wins that we've had and our achievements, because it's classed as bragging.
Yeah.
So and again, every time I post something, there's always some fucking idiot
First quarterly,
criticizing me.
you made us post them
I
10
did.
wins online.
Yeah, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, terrifying.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying. Now
and
I can't wait to do it.
I'll never apologize for it, because I'm like, well, for every person who chooses to feel bad about what I've done, because it's their problem.
Yeah.
People like, you shouldn't post that, it might make people feel bad. I'm like, well, that's on them, not me.
Yeah.
That's on them. For every person that
That's almost
chooses,
selfish.
it is.
Yeah.
For every person that chooses to feel bad, 10 people get inspired by it.
Yeah.
At least 10. The amount of people, and this blows my fucking head off, Adam, and you'll get this as well. The amount of people that tell me that they stopped drinking because I did, blows me head off.
Well, I did.
Celebrities. Do you know, that blows me head off. I'm like, well, and I didn't do that I didn't even do it to impress
Did it
anybody.
for you,
really.
yeah.
Do you know what's mad about the alcohol thing? It wasn't even a big deal. It became a big deal because I'm proud of myself. But actually, Leslie said, why are you doing it? I'm like, it ruins me week. It slows me down.
Yeah.
I get sick. I'm grumpy on a Sunday. But the reality was, I just wanted to see if I could. I legit, she said to me, why are you doing it? I was like, I'm intrigued to see if I can. I had all the leverage in that.
Yeah.
But the main reason was I was curious.
Yeah.
And you'll know this, Adam, when you've done that, whatever time frame you set, when you've done that, you're like, it's so weird, this.
It was the year thing for me. And it was
Once
like,
you've
well,
done
what
that,
am I going to do now?
What else can I do? What else? I've done a year booze free. What else am I fucking capable of? It's so weird to say that, because you're like, you haven't conquered a mountain. For me, you've conquered something harder.
Yeah,
a mountain takes 4 or 5 hours. A mountain takes 4 or 5 hours. It is.
It's a lot harder.
It's constantly in your face.
Yeah.
Constantly in your face. People are constantly on your case about it. It's such a weird thing. So
I feel like when you get past a certain point, though, and it does depend on your friends and family and who you surround yourself with.
Yes.
But the first kind of 3, 4, 5 months is hard.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you have got people going, just have one. Why don't you just have one? Can you not control
do
yourself?
you know I've got the most respect for? Sounds weird. Single guys with no kids who can stay off the booze. For me, that is fucking very impressive. You could argue that they may have less stress, but I'm like, what do you do when you're a single guy with no kids?
You have to fill your
It's
life
been
with
so.
things that inspire you.
That's what I mean. It's been so long, but for me, I think that seems more challenging.
Yeah.
Because if I was single, the first thing I do would get on the fucking sesh.
Yeah.
But then,
I feel like if they're in an alliance or something, it's not so bad.
Nah, it's not, because you're surrounded by people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I love it. What other results have you had then?
So, results. So, I mean, the biggest thing is the alcohol, probably, and the way I feel.
Yeah.
Positivity. It's just, I was with Luke this morning, Luke Harrison, and he was saying, like, there's no better thing than the way you feel and feeling good.
There's nothing more important than that.
No. And that now is huge to me. So that's probably the biggest win, is being able to stay calm through difficult situations.
Being able to stand in the middle of the storm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say,
and still inspire.
And say, I am the storm.
Yeah, man.
There's an old quote that's so cheesy. It fits the old me more than it fits the new me, but it's like, the storm does something, the warrior whispers to the storm, I am the storm. And I do quite like it, but that's the old me. That's like the old me. Do you know, that would be under a quote, under a picture of like Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
With fucking Tommy Shelby. Tommy Shelby in the background. It'll be all the fucking miserable cunts sharing it. Anyway, so I mean, what is that led to then? Because that is the basis for something else. It's hard to change your life feeling like shit. Robin Sharma has a quote which I like, which is, you can't become legendary if you feel like shit. Something like that. And I love that say, you can't become legendary feeling like crap. Like, it's true. What has that led to for you?
Just every day being better. Like, it's as simple as that. Like this morning, I mean, touching on like morning routines, I mean, when we started, meditation. I'm like, what the hell's that?
For hippies.
Ice baths, yeah.
For people that think they're tough.
Yeah, journaling. I'm
For
like,
teenage girls.
what is all this? And it's weird. So when I sort of started, I was having to push myself to do it.
Yes.
You know, break through, do that new thing. Like
especially when you're being told to do it. It's hard. It's hard for a bloke to be told what to do.
You're just doing it.
Yeah.
And it's hard, very hard to show up and do that when you're not really sure why you're doing it.
Yes.
But now I'm like choosing to, you know, I mean, this morning I've got up, I've worked out with Luke Harrison, done training with him. I've been in the sea for 10 minutes this morning and I feel primed. I feel excellent. I've meditated, I've journaled, and it feels mad to say those things, but I want to tell people, like, because now I feel epic. Like, it's priming me to start my day. So when I walk out that door in the morning to work, around families, whoever, I'm inspiring people without even realizing it. And it feels weird to say.
Mate, doing what you do, I bet it feels, this is going to sound mental, I bet it feels weird for people when you turn up at the door to do your thing that you're world class at.
Yeah, yeah.
It must feel weird to have someone like you show up.
It is.
Instead of someone with fucking silicone all over their t-shirt, belly hanging out with shit energy.
I think the biggest thing for me is providing, now the way I position it, providing an experience for the customer.
Isn't that mad?
It's, you know, I want to turn up and be like, so that.
And what do you do, like, just for everyone listening?
I'm a heating engineer. Yeah. So I want to turn up and I want to give them an experience. I want to be like,
doesn't that sound mental?
Yeah, it does.
It sounds mental.
I'm just there to do a job, whatever that might be.
There'll be someone listening now saying, mate, you fit fucking boilers, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the feeling. You won't forget the feeling. So if you have someone in your house, you fit them a boiler and it's over 4 days and they've been in your house for 4 days, you'll never forget the feeling of them coming in and be like, that guy was really chirpy. Like, he made me feel good every day.
Isn't that mad?
Then at
the fact that you're even thinking about that is fucking sensational, by the way.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is,
by the way, there'll be some people that just think, who the fuck was that weirdo?
Yeah.
That happens to me.
That's fine.
That happens to me. Who the fuck was that guy? What did he take before he came in?
Yeah.
I find that a compliment.
Yeah.
I do find that a compliment,
But again, it's on them.
And people think that Paul Malt's a bit much, isn't he? I'm like, I'm fucking thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not me it's not me that's too much, it's you that's too fucking too little, mate. Come on. Paul, will you slow down? I'm like, no, you speed up, dickhead.
Love it.
Come on, man. So talk to me about business then. Because I know it's had an impact on your business.
Yeah. So
there might be bits that you don't want to touch on, but that's okay.
Well, I would just say that through going through everything that I've been through with you.
He's not listening, trust me.
No, it's good. But with everything that I've gone through with you in Alliance, it's enabled me to know exactly who I want to be. I've found who I want to be in myself, and I just know who I want to spend time with and who I don't want to spend time with so much, and basically just know what I want. And it's just about surrounding yourself with people of a similar energy or further ahead than you are, that you want to.
And how has that changed your business?
Well, I'm now set fully up on my own.
Come on, boy.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. Because you had a business partner for how long?
4 years.
And that's quite a long time as well to have a business partner. Yeah.
And it went. There was ups and downs, you know.
Yeah.
We had.
And there'll be ups and downs doing it on your own.
Absolutely.
A different kind.
And there was absolutely times where we worked really, really well together, and there was times where we didn't. But
give me some tips then. If I'm thinking about a partnership, I'm in several business partnerships now. Right, some business partnerships where I get to say I don't even say anything, but which is fine for me. And some business partnerships where I am heavily involved. Obviously, my main business partnership is inside of this business with my wife. Yeah. What are some of the advice you can give to people who are in a business partnership or thinking about going into one? So, you're allowed to say don't.
Yeah, well, it's funny because
I actually say that
when I was in it, I always thought, well, it's working for me.
Why did you go into it? Was it a bit of a cop out, do you think, or not? Because I often think that I'm like, the only reason you want to go into that partnership is because you're scared to do it on your own. Yes, was there a little bit of that?
Yes, I suppose there was. Yeah. To be honest with you, I said to myself, this was obviously before joining anything to do with you, I said to myself, I'd never go in business alone. Because I just felt it was too much pressure, too much stress, anxiety. I was all like creating this before I even started.
Yeah.
And I worked for a company in kitchen appliances for a while, about sort of 4 years. Yeah. And it got to a point where I was just like, I'm just being asked for more and more and more things. They sort of made a role called lead engineer, and I went for it because I thought that sounds cool. Yeah. You got to sort of boss everyone else around under you, and that was really good learning for me. Yeah. So although the money was shit, you know what?
Good learning for when you employ somebody, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah. But because the learning that I got from that and being the lead engineer, it sort of enabled me to then take that next step. So it's constantly just pushing yourself more. But I went into it I kind of fell into it, to be honest, because I felt I wasn't appreciated in employed work. And I think sort of we both felt like that.
Yeah.
And because I was the lead engineer and they were creating the role as they went, they were just sort of throwing more and more stuff in. And I was only on
and you weren't getting more and more back.
No, I was only on a couple of grand more than
You're giving more than you got.
It was basically like, oh, what we'll do, we'll reduce your runtime on the road, but they never really did. And then have a laptop as well that we want you to be on like 6 hours a day. And we'll give you a couple of grand more a year.
And we'll also check whether how long you've been on the laptop. And how far you've driven.
Yeah. And it's like, well, it got to the point where I was just being on this laptop all the time. And I was like, for whatever it worked out, 100 quid more a month or a couple hundred quid more, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
So we just stumbled into it together, and we were like, and it wasn't until actually I looked back 4 or 5 months, I said I'd never do this, and now I'm in it. Like, it was really weird. And it was easier. Like, to be in a partnership with somebody is easier. But I would just say, we went through the whole disc profile thing recently on the coaching academy, which we can touch on.
Oh, was that quite eye-opening for you?
It was.
Was it?
It was interesting you saying, like, your profile compared to, say, mine would probably be somewhat opposites. So I feel like
I think we would be quite similar.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think you're influential.
I think
you're an I.
I think it was heavily I for me, which was interesting because you said I think there's more the D and the I or the S and the C. But I was more I and C or one of those two. So I kind of crossed over. But I think there's been other people you've spoken to on war rooms, etc., that have said, I think you need to be kind of opposites. So to work together.
I think that
that
works really well.
Your employment with you guys here and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because they have to be what you're not, and
Yeah.
vice versa. If not, it's clash. So I just think it's a little bit of lots of different things on lots of different levels. I wouldn't say don't do it.
You got to choose the partner very carefully, and not just because they're your mate.
Yeah.
I think the
Never
problem
go to
is,
business with mates or
I think it's the
family.
problem if it's your mate is you're the mate because they like you.
Yeah.
We like people that are like us. I like people I get on better with people that are like me. Like, if you look at my friendship group or my peer group that you know of, I'm very similar to all of them. Yeah. They're all fucking mental.
I think
imagine a room full of, imagine a team full of people like me. Fucking disaster.
Work. Nothing, yeah.
It'd be shit all over the place.
Yeah.
It'd be mental. It wouldn't work. You're right. You've got to it's kind of like the way that
two sides together.
That's exactly what it is. It's like the yin and yang.
Yeah.
If that would be a perfect description of actually yin and yang.
I think ultimately the reason the partnership ended was because we just had different visions. We just grew at different rates and just ultimately wanted different things out of life.
Yeah, that's what happened with my business. My original first partnership ever went. It was in the supplements.
Really working for us.
Yeah,
and it's okay.
Yeah. Did you watch that training with Tim? Who we talked about e-commerce? You might not have seen it yet.
I did.
So can you tell? Can you see how opposite me and Tim are?
Yeah.
So opposite, it's unbelievable. So it worked.
It worked.
And then we got to a point. He's got no kids, doesn't want kids. I had kids.
Yeah.
And we worked very, very well together. In fact, I'd go into a business with him again.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
He might not, but we work well together. But then we wanted different things.
I think that's exactly where we're at.
So one of us we work well together, but then we're trying to drag each other in different ways.
Yes.
And then you just end up splitting apart. If you're not watching it on video, I'm kind of pulling my hands apart.
Yeah, become resentful a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you're like, and it's your fault.
He was like, why can't you do this event on a weekend?
Yeah.
And I'm like, why can't we do this instead? And then
that you've pretty much summed up what kind of happened.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't say, when it sort of initially split, I would probably say, oh no, don't.
Yes.
But I wouldn't say that really, because again, I don't have any regrets, and just look for the lessons.
You learned what you need to learn. You got what you needed to get.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have made the step from AO, where I used to do work, to self-employed, I don't think, without that kind of...
That's interesting, isn't it? Because I think it probably give you a little bit more certainty.
Yeah.
How do you feel about being self-employed then? Because again, that's another big step. You're walking away from guaranteed work.
Yeah, but I feel good because I'm in control.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got the tools now to do it. It's like having, I think of it as a little like plumber's tool bag of mindset tools all the time with me.
Yeah.
So,
And a load of people that have got your back.
Yeah.
I think that's
huge.
That is huge, man. You know what? Because I'm going to ask you this now. What's your favourite part about Alliance?
Oh, I wasn't prepared for that one.
No.
Favourite part, it's got to be the people.
Yeah.
It's got to be the people.
Yeah.
Because...
I was offended when people said that. I asked everyone, what was your favourite?
Nothing to do with you.
Nah.
No, it's got to be... That was stone cold as well, wasn't it?
I was talking to Russell Kane's wife, Lindsay, about this, and everyone said community. She was like, but Paul, because Lindsay was in the programme, she loves it.
Paul.
That's why I'm friends with Russell. And she actually said, but Paul, you've created that, you have facilitated that, you've attracted the people in, and you still hold the space for people to do that. You still have an impact on that community. You create I suppose I've created the culture inside of the community.
it's something for you to step back and look at and be proud of.
Mate,
even though I'm not saying your name.
Yeah.
That's what it is, because you've created this.
Yeah, and it's my
first thing. I mean, I've just renewed again.
Yeah.
And,
sick. Come on.
Yeah. So it's like it was just. It's not a question of I'm not going to be in it.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? And
because I see it as an investment now. It's like can I afford not to do it,
mate? And I say to people,
now.
if you can't make that small investment, because it is, mate, the price that guys pay for a year is what I pay my coach per month.
Yeah, see, I've seen this, and other people that have done other programs and are like, for the quarterly events alone, people have said it's worth.
And that's where I feel the most emotional.
Yeah.
Kath and Leslie.
I can't wait to do Snowdon.
It's where I feel the more emotional, where we look around. Me, Kath and Leslie, it happens every time. We'll look around and we just go like this, all of us.
Yeah.
And we're like, we fucking created this.
Yeah.
We put this together. We got all of these people in this room. Obviously, they've got to make the effort to come, and they do the work. I don't do the work. I just provide the tools and hold the space and show them what to do. But it happens at every quarterly. That. So your favorite things, the community. What do you mean by that? Like, what do you get from the community?
Support, friendship, that whole who not how.
Mint crack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk me about who not how. What do you mean by that?
So who not how. So looking for people I can reach out to get me where I want to be quicker.
Yeah.
And not feeling guilty for it.
Yeah.
Because if someone said to me, can you help me? I just want this on anything, on business, on mindset, I'd be well open to help them out.
Yeah.
But you have that thing like, I can't ask for help.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, actually,
that's ego.
Yeah, I can, and that's the thing, and that's been interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, find out about ego.
It's
and finding who I am.
It's mad, and mate, we do the quarterly review, the yearly review, and one of the things that I wrote down for about fucking 6 quarters in a row was one of the areas I let myself down. The lessons that I learned was that I'll reach out for help, but often I do it late.
Yeah.
So I wasted a fucking shit ton of time trying to do it on my own.
I tell you what always scares me is where you work out that time. You'd be like, well, if every quarter I've wasted 2 weeks, you've wasted 2 months of the year fucking around when you could have been further ahead.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mad. It's mad.
That's what I...
And it's an interesting thing.
Bigger.
Yeah, you do. You make it bigger. And often I have the same, whereas if you could do it on your own, you'd already done it. But I'm like, that's what we imagine that, paying for help and then not using it. It's mad, isn't it?
It's weird. I
mad.
still get worried asking you questions.
It's
now,
weird.
2 years in.
Because we think, and I was talking to my friend Kev Whitehouse in Elite X Kev, and we were talking about this yesterday. We feel like we're being a burden. We feel like we're being an inconvenience to the person who asks for help. But you've just said it.
I want to help people.
I love helping people because we get to show off a little bit.
Everyone in this alliance does.
Yeah, we get to serve. We get to give something back. And ultimately, we get to show off.
Feed your ego.
Well, it does. It does.
But why not?
And we forget that. It feeds my... When someone says, can you connect me with someone? Has anyone got this connect? I'm like, I've got that fucking connect. Does anyone know anyone that does this?
How make you feel?
I'm like, yeah, I know someone that does that. It's unbelievable. Or is anybody giving advice on this? Even better giving advice.
Do you know, I spoke to Andy Cheatham this morning.
Yeah.
I saw him at Luke's.
At
the training. And I said, you know what? I said, I'm not putting words in your mouth here, but I understand asking that question about, what do I feel, how to deal with it if I feel a bit like it's all the world's come on top of me and I feel overwhelmed.
A brilliant question.
It was a brilliant question, but I said this to him. I said, I just want to say thank you so much for asking that question. I said, because I know you might or might not have felt weird asking that question.
You would have felt weird because it was quite a deep question. It was quite a big admission, wasn't it?
I feel like I should already know it. And I went, yeah, but what's the thing about being reminded? Repetition is the mother of all skill. I was like, and do you know how many people? I said, well, I've got value for that. I said, it's when you're sitting in a room full of people and you put your hand up and ask a question that you think stupid, but everyone else is thinking
that question would, and I told them to ask that in a war room.
Yeah,
because I knew everybody would benefit from that question because everybody feels overwhelmed sometimes.
It's the reminder.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable question, and that's also what I love. Andy Cheatham, and you not even know this, changed my son's life.
Yeah,
because my son was like
to do with the chipmunk thing, was it?
No.
I still haven't heard that, by the way.
Sensational. I think I've got it on my phone. I'll send you it.
Please do.
My son started playing rugby for the school, loved it, started getting more confident. He said, Dad, do you think you'll be able to get me in at Westow? Now, Westow are the best team locally, the best rugby team locally. And I'm like, I don't know. Part of me was like, well, I don't know. When I was at school, you had to be asked to play for Westow if you were any good. Yeah. When I was and someone told me you've got a waiting list. There's a waiting list to play for Westow. Yeah. Andy Cheatham is involved with the first team. He picks the first team. Andy, can you get me son in?
Who not how?
Who not how? Can you get me son in at Westow? Playing for Westow changed my son's life.
Amazing.
His confidence has gone through the roof. He's interested in health, fitness, being strong, being fit. His aggression's gone through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
It's made him better at football now. He's into football. He's got a brand new friendship group. He's friends before. This is going to sound harsh, but they're all fat gamers. He was in that zone.
Yeah, yeah.
Now he's got a
You've got to
completely
change
different
your environment.
and especially rugby boys are great, mate. The difference between the lads he plays football with and rugby with is mental.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have to say thank you to Annie Cheatham, and that was an example of who, not how.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he was like, Dad, can you get me in a football team? I was like, actually, yes, I can, because I know people. And that's me showing off a little bit, but who, not how is so powerful, man. So powerful. It's unbelievable. And again, this will happen with the comedy stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm blessed to be able to say to Russell Kane, mate, I've done my first stand-up act. Can you look at it?
Yeah.
How many people can say
cool
that?
is that?
I got a text. Chris Ramsey was texting me the day after.
Yeah.
Saying he just came off doing The Wheel. Just recorded The Wheel and he's texting me saying, well done your comedy gig, mate. And I was like, it's fucking hard, isn't it? So tell me about this, right? I think we've just got a knock on the door. Hold on. Yeah, we did get a knock on the door. I'm on a podcast now. One last thing, right? Couple of things. Give me 2 things that you do that have changed your life the most. 2 things that the people listening to could implement straight away that could have a big impact on their life. You probably already mentioned them.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, it'd be starting to cut down on the booze, if not, because that was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Going to drinking, going to bed at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, having 3 or 4 hours sleep, and then getting up and trying to do a day's work.
Yeah.
And that massively.
And even if you're not trying to do a day's work, even if it's a weekend, you're fucking losing an entire day.
Yeah. Yeah.
An entire day.
You're always saying to me, will Monday you thank Saturday?
Yeah.
And people don't get that. And it's like, well, if you drink all weekend, are you going to wake up on Monday feeling like, oh yeah, I'm so
guaranteed. You're guaranteed to feel like shit on a Monday.
For 3 days, probably.
Yeah.
So, and then the other thing would probably be to my morning routine. I love a cold shower now, and it sounds weird, but
you were saying this before.
Yeah.
Having this part where we feel like we've discovered cold water.
Yeah,
it's mad.
I know, but it's amazing. Like to get up and have that morning routine, and like you say, it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be hard. It can literally start with get up, have a pint of water, and a 5-minute walk. But it's just something different to start your day.
Yeah.
See and notice things, and a phone. Phone's a big one as well. Like I know we talk about this, but don't check your phone first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Like go out for a 5-minute walk without your phone, because so many times I've gone out with my phone and felt really productive, but I've been like this the entire time.
Yeah, that happens to me.
Staring down at my screen.
That does happen to me.
Like, well, I haven't even noticed like the birds, the trees. I know it sounds a bit hippie shit, but like notice.
No, you also haven't given yourself any headspace to be creative or work through what might pop up that day. Aye.
Someone said you're always in, I think it was Dave Pine actually, the old DP. He said you're always in record mode and you never play back. And
that's very interesting.
And I was like, yeah.
I use a lot of these. Every walk I've done this week, I've rehearsed comedy.
Yeah.
I put my headphones on. Don't record it. You just look weird talking with no headphones on, talking to yourself.
Yeah, of course.
So I rehearsed the entire thing. Yesterday I walked in. I rehearsed Saturdays. I rehearsed tomorrow's keynote. Works a fucking treat. And that's me using walking time to be creative, to learn shit. It's unbelievable.
Ultimately, just do something different.
Adam, you're about to step into coaching. What's your ambition with this?
Just to inspire as many people as I can, basically. I mean, people have said, and it's weird for me to say out loud, but I'm going to do it. People have said I've got this positivity and this magnetism around me.
I said it right at the start.
Draws people in.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that, but the more and more people that tell you.
It radiates from you.
Yeah, and people have said that, and it's like, I've got this, I'm going to call it a gift, and why not use it? And it always goes back to, and I think I said this morning as well, is if I don't do something with that, I'm impacting fuck all people.
You're letting people down.
Whilst I'm thinking about people and thinking about impacting people, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's about
you're doing me a disservice.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how to position it. Who can I impact? And that's what I've done today with coming and being here.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's an awesome gift, and thank you for having me on.
Hey, my pleasure,
but
sir.
It's also if I can impact somebody by, even if they don't join the program, if they listen and just have a little mindset shift and be like, oh yeah, resonate with that.
That's all I do, mate. I don't go out and be way to offend and upset people with me pause.
Yeah.
I do it to just, if they can change the way they think about one thing, that's a game changer.
When they get angry and when they start lashing out, that's when you know they're on that breaking
It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity. They either blame me or they can have a shift.
But they're right on that cusp of having that shift.
Yeah, and that's a decision. They're going to go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Adam Clark, where can people find out more about what you're doing?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram. But
amazing.
That's about it at the minute.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Adam Clark, number 1. I'm very fucking proud of you, mate.
Thank you very much.
Number 2, thank you.
No worries. Cheers, Mr. Mort.
Thank you so much.